I understand that you were in the hall when President Xi gave his speech. What was your impression? What was the atmosphere like?
I think the atmosphere was very enthusiastic. The hall was full. Several halls were making the direct transmission, and all the participants were following very, very closely to each words pronounced by President Xi. In this critical moment, I think it's very important that China take the leadership and also send a clear message to the world. Not only China want to go on with this globalization process, but they want to make the globalization more inclusive and sustainable. I think the two words people pronounce here constantly after the speech is this inclusive and sustainable.
Mm-hmm. Now, I noticed that he was using a lot of metaphors. He was painting quite some images in people's mind. For instance, he was using the ocean to describe world economy and how China was learning to swim by swimming, in that ocean and learning to survive. Did you have that impression? Do you think that the way how he talked was also quite interesting and quite catering to an international audience?
I think this time the speech was not wooden, so it's very live and with, as you said, a lot of metaphors and quotes from very famous Dickinson and others. I think it's a very vivid presentation of the Chinese determination and also to make sure that the world will get the message. I think that the whole speech is a very success story.
Mm-hmm. Let's hear one more soundbite from President Xi, especially when he described China's position against globalization. He used a very interesting metaphor of a dark room. Let's listen in.
Pursuing protectionism is just like locking oneself in a dark room. While wind and rain may be kept outside, so are light and air. No one will emerge as a winner in a trade war.
Very important headline there, that no one will emerge as a winner in a trade war. Do you think this message is loud and clear and especially very focused to this kind of message that we're potentially hearing from the future President of the United States?
I think we have heard enough warnings today about this anti-globalization trend in certain countries in the world, including United States. But I think it's the most important thing is that how China can benefit these less favored social classes in the developed countries in the new globalization trend led by China. I think this is really the key issue that people here they really want to follow in the coming years.
Did President Xi provide China's answer to that? Do you think he outlined the plan?
The words
China
are very...
Yes, go ahead, please.
Yeah, I think the plan itself is very determined. Of course, it's just an opening remark, so it's not very detailed. So people really want to see how China will act. And I think today, not only we are talking a lot about the message towards out of China, but I think even within China, this speech is extremely important. As a researcher and a professor based in China, I think the speech is also very important inward looking, because many Chinese now they are debating about the future trend of evolution of Chinese economy. Here, President Xi gives a very clear message, again, the determination to continue with opening and reform, to open the door, embrace the free trade and free investment. And I think this message, also the market playing determining role in the redistribution of the economic resources, all this message, the commitments are very important to make sure that in China the transition is also very smooth.
Mm-hmm. Now, I think what I noticed is that he was making a very interesting point, saying that you not only has to look at what China has achieved from globalization, from the past 30 years of economic development, but also what China has given, has contributed to the world's development. He actually gave 3 sets of figures comparing what China gave in terms of foreign assistance, in terms of training programs, and in terms of international investment, and what China has done to absorb international investments and contributing to world growth. Why do you think he made this reference? What point do you think he was trying to make?
I think he just wants to touch the silent part of the Western world, because actually this is the silent part who voted for Trump, who voted for the exit of Britain from the European Union. So it's very important to make sure this social class gets the message from China, to know that the overall Chinese contribution to the world during this globalization is very positive, and also positive for them.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ding Yuan, Vice President and Dean of the China-Europe International Business School, joining us from Davos.